Hey y'all, hey. Happy Sunday. I am so late with this Paradise review, y'all. I am so sorry. I finally got a chance to rewatch the episode, but I got notes. I don't have pictures, but we will rewrap the season. I will add my theories and everything. And I'm so sorry for the echo in here. I still have not got my mic situation all together, but we will get this together, okay? So let me go ahead and add this PowerPoint and let's just do a run through of all the pictures, right? So we got Xavier, we got Cal, okay? We got Sinatra, we got Billy, RIP. We got Yo Gabba Gabba, we got Gabrielle. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here. So today we will be reviewing episode 8, the finale, and this episode is called The Man Who Kept All the Secrets, right? So we start off this episode. This episode starts off 12 years ago, and we are opening up at a construction site. And it opens up, remember on episode 2 when Sinatra was telling that architect to build her city. So it kind of opens up with that scene. So let me get that man's picture. So this guy, remember he had like the stage, not the stage fright. Oh my God, the he was kind of like scared of flying. He was on a plane, so that guy. So it kind of opens up on that scene, but we meet a guy who is the project manager of the construction site. He works underneath this guy, and his name is Anders. So we meet a guy named Trent. Trent is the project manager. He was told that he's working on a recycling site. He works with a bunch of construction workers. At first, it's a little awkward when they're all working together, right? But they all build a bond. He especially builds a bond with a guy named Adam. Adam, he's African. I don't know what country, but Adam, he like brings Adam different like foods he likes. Like there was one time he like brought Adam a certain like drink that he really liked. So he really built a bond. And I don't know, I was kind of sensing a little bit of like a romantic thing from not from Adam, but from Trent to Adam. If you picked up on that, it could have been just been me. But so it was kind of like it was a weird opener to this episode because we're like, who are these people, right? But there was one part when they blew up a certain part of the site so they could build there. And one of the construction workers starts coughing. And then another part that I figured out was that we know that they just got any kind of construction workers that definitely didn't know what was going on. Um, so they find one of the construction workers starts coughing, right? And they figure out it's because of a um, compound called, y'all, I literally wrote down the name. Y'all, I'm a microbiologist. I am not a chemist, okay? So forgive me. This is called arsenic, oh Lord, arsenic sulfite. Yeah. So over time it will like pretty much kill you, okay? So and pretty much when he tells Anders this, he's like, should we like get the workers off the site? That's what Trent is asking. But Anders is like, is this gonna compromise the site? Like pretty much, I don't give a damn about these workers. Is this gonna delay the us building? So this when Trent kind of realized he doesn't really care about his workers. So the next day, Trent is trying to like badge in to the site, and he realizes his badge isn't working, and they fire him. And Anders is just like, hey, we're gonna keep the workers safe. We got the mask, but you need to find another job. And Trent is just like, you know what? But Anders is like, listen, something catastrophic is happening. You don't want to mess with the people that own what this site is, and you just need to forget about this job pretty much. So Trent, this causes him to go crazy. He just starts researching like what's going to happen. He researches Cal. He goes nuts pretty much. And he like is calling Adam like a bunch of times. He goes crazy. And we figure out he is the one that tried to pow pow the that press conference on season 1 that tried to pow pow Cal, and he's the one that pow powed Xavier. So I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So we change scenes, present day. We open up, and Xavier is thinking about the message that Sinatra played him from his wife. So he goes up to Robinson, who's like, who's guarding, I guess, the place with the hostages. And he goes up to Robinson and he's like, you need to let everybody, all the hostages go. And you need to, and he's like one of the, whoever is the one who offed Cal, it's not someone who is from paradise. And she's just like, you know what? But Robinson is like, you probably need to look at arrival date because that doesn't make any kind of sense. But Xavier really doesn't care because he's just thinking about the safety of Presley. Like he really does not care at this point. So we see the vice president, the one that has like really bad anxiety. He's like issuing a press conference saying that the town is not in danger. Um, and he's also telling the townspeople that Cal's death is probably due to foul play, and that kind of worries the townspeople. Sinatra tells her team that they need to pretty much get rid of all the information on the tablet. Jeremy is still standing on top of cars, y'all, and telling everybody information from the tablet. And Gabriella tells Sinatra that she's becoming undone, and Sinatra's like, I've done terrible things. And this is kind of like freaking Gabriella out because, you know, Gabriella still sees the good in Sinatra. So she's just like, well, what you mean by that? Like, what you mean you've done terrible things? So, um, and then we cut to a scene with Jane and Sinatra not Jane and Sinatra, Jane and Presley talking to each other. And it seems like Jane is pretty, for the most part, keeping Presley safe. And that's why I said Jane is like a child in her head. Like her and, I don't know, it's like her and Presley are like on the same wavelength. But Sinatra calls Jane and it's just like, I just need to know that you are going to do whatever I say you need to do. And one thing about Jane, she is obsessed with this Wii. Like Jane is just like, hey, is the Wii still gonna be available? And Sinatra's like, are you insane? But y'all see at the end of this episode that like she was serious about that Wii. But Xavier goes back to Cal's room, the crime site, and he asks for the CD. He looks for the CD that he remembers Kyle made for Jeremy, and he grabs it, and he sees that he made it in the library. So he goes and he remembers that on that cigarette he wrote numbers on there, and those numbers were 812092. So he decides to go to the library and look for those numbers to see if anything's important. And this part was really important. Robinson goes to Gabriella's house, and Gabriella's getting drunk because she's like really distraught that Sinatra is not who she said she's been for all these years. And it's just like, I don't know, Gabriella gets on my nerves, just like, duh, girl. But Robinson is there because she realizes everyone had to get a psych eval to get into paradise. So she wants to look through her database to see if anyone had any red flags on their file so she could look into them. So they look through everything and they see there's a red flag for someone named Margaret Davis, which is that diner, that server that Gabriella has a really close relationship, the one that's always eating like those cashew fries. So they realize that they look on the file and they see that this person has a severe like nut allergy. And Gabriella's like, if this is true, this doesn't make sense because I'm always eating those fries with this same person. So they realize that this person isn't who they say that they are. So they end up going to the diner. Gabriella kind of like sets it up, and they hold her at Pow Pow Point. Robinson shows up, and the lady's just pretty much like, I'm so relieved you guys found me, but just know that he made me do it. So they don't know who he is. We cut to a scene with Sinatra. She gets a text from Jane saying she handled the situation. We don't know what handling is. We don't know if she did something to Presley. So we go to the scene with Xavier. He goes to the library and he looks for clues that Kyle possibly left him. He finds a book called about Sinatra, and then he finds a book called "The Man Who Kept the Secrets." He found a note that Kyle left, and just a bunch of clues talking about paradise and different secrets. But he's knocked out, and it's by the librarian. Um, so when he wakes up, the librarian is asking him if he recognizes him, and Xavier said he doesn't know. And he's like, "Listen, I'm the one who pow powed you." And so Trent tells his story and said he is the one that he says, "I'm the one that pow powed you pretty much at that press conference." And he ended up going to jail, right? And it was in Colorado. So he ended up being closer to the site. He ended up calling Adam, remember the guy who worked at the site, but Adam told him he was dying because remember he was poisoned at the site and he kept working there. So eventually, years later, he would be okay. So he ended up being in prison for years. So on Doomsday, there was a prison riot because why not? So he ends up he ended up breaking out of jail. He ended up getting out of jail, faking being an officer. He found people that were like, ended up going to paradise, like they were the only people picked and they were in a car. So he ended up kind of like acting like, hey, I have a faster way for you to get there. And they just followed him. He ended up pow-powing them, taking their car, and he took their identity pretty much. And then he shaved off his hair like right here to match one of the guys. And then he was kind of near a convenience store, and he ended up seeing the girl, the diner girl, crying in her car, saying she did nothing with her life. So he was like, you're in the right place at the right time. So he pretty much told her that, to like help come with me and I'll take this identity and you'll be safe. So he ended up going to the Paradise arrival site, and he faked like having a panic attack because their watches were broken. So so he didn't get like go through the surveillance area correctly. And as soon as he got to Paradise, he was going to complete his mission of, finishing what he started to Cal. But he said he just got comfortable and he just laid low for years. And until Kyle came in that day to make that mixtape, he really just forgot what he was there for. And he was finally reminded. So he is the one who eventually Cal. He got a weapon from the library that was like locked up. And I'm not surprised he's the one who did it because it was just so messy. And I'm just like, why didn't y'all have cameras like on the balcony? But he came in, he hit Cal once, and then he turned away, and Cal was able to write down the numbers on the cigarette, and he just laid there. I'm just like, it was just so messy. It really was. So after he told his story to Xavier, he leaves Xavier there, and he was just like, the world deserves to know. And then he took the book that says "The Man Who Kept the Secrets" because I think it tells you how to get out of paradise. Oh yeah, it does have the notes, all the notes that Cal wrote to get out of paradise. So And I think you have to go up like a skyline to get there. So as soon as he leaves, Robinson comes to the library to get Xavier, and she finds him knocked out. And they go to catch up with Trent. So they end up, and this part was kind of unrealistic to me. I'm like, how did y'all catch up to him so fast? But they end up going to the skyline area, and Trent pretty much says he's just like, um, he was like, they had a chance to start over down here and build a better world. And they just built the same privileged houses for the same few, and this place is still a prison. He says there are bodies scattered in dirt down here, and this place is just a grave site. He says paradise is a joke, and he jumps through the lights above. And he just ends up like probably like falling on a house. So that is the end of Trent. And I was just like, I don't know. So I wish they would have done something differently, because I'm like, end up being him. And I wish they would have done something different. I don't know. But Xavier goes to Sinatra's house, and he is pretty much confronted by all her security guards. So he gives up all his like pow pows. You get what I mean? But he goes into Sinatra's room. He tells her that it was the librarian, and he asks her, he's like, "Where's my daughter?" And she still won't answer him because Jane told her that it was done. So she's just like, "I'm sorry, Agent Collins. I never intended for things to go this way." And he freaks out, and he had a pow pow hidden in his sock. And I'm just like, why wouldn't y'all think he would have a pow? He's a security agent. Of course, he's going to have something hidden somewhere. But he offs both her security guards, and he holds a pow pow to her head. And before he even and he's like, "What did you do?" And out of nowhere, Jane comes out of nowhere. It pow pow Sinatra in the neck. And Jane is just like, Presley's with Brooks and Rainey. And Xavier just leaves because he knows his kids are safe. And it was just this part for me that certified that Jane is insane. Jane goes up to Sinatra and says, he was gonna blow your brains out, but you're no use for me if you're dead. You have a long recovery ahead of you, and you probably should have just let me have the we. I said, Jane is crazy, okay? I'm like, a we? What does that even have to do with right now? But I really want to know her backstory. I'm just like, what? Yeah, I'm just like, she acts so childish. I want to know her history with Sinatra. I want to know how she became an agent. I don't know. I have so many questions about Jane. But pretty much the episode ends by Xavier goes to Rainey and Brooks' house. He sees his kids are safe. Xavier tells Robinson that Sinatra's down, and Robinson is just like, for now. Robinson says he needs to go out there and figure out what's out there, and that she will protect his kids. Um, Jeremy listens to the tape that his dad left him, and he kind of remains as like a kind of like an activist. Um, Xavier goes to the airplane. He has all the directions, and he goes ahead and flies, and he gets out of paradise to go explore. um, Sinatra is in the hospital surrounded by her daughter and husband, and it kind of didn't look real. So I'm like, are they really in paradise? Because we never see her husband and daughter in any other area. Like, we never see them in the car. We only see them in her house and like in her imagination. So I don't know. I have a lot of questions, but and we see Jane playing her Wii. And sorry, these pictures are so bad, y'all. It was so hard because like you can't take screenshots on Hulu, like from your device. So I have to take pictures with my phone, and it is so sunny right now, so I couldn't even take pictures. But y'all, Jane is insane. But overall, this season was definitely a 10 out of 10. I mean, this finale wasn't amazing, but I think it does set up a great opportunity for season two. Like, we can show Xavier. We can show Xavier in Outside of Paradise. We can see the backstory for Jane, what Sinatra's gonna do next, what the townspeople are gonna do. I don't know. We have so much room for storyline. So I'm impressed. I really am. I've loved this season, and I already told y'all I don't like dystopian kind of shows, but this really got me intrigued. So so I don't know, I'm impressed. But I'm gonna go ahead and go. I definitely am gonna do my Raising Kanan review today, and I am gonna do my Real Housewives of Atlanta today when it comes out. But thank you. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I really been enjoying doing these reviews. But thank you, and bye. Have a great day.